What's up? So my apologies for not getting this video up yesterday. As you can see, I am making it today. That's why it wasn't up yesterday. Yesterday started off pretty crazy. I dropped a plate on my toes, doing some pretty serious damage there. Hurt like hell. And then I just got really busy with a bunch of oddball stuff. And instead of trying to piece together a training video on a bad foot yesterday, I decided to take yesterday off, plan out some things, really lay out the direction of what I want to do with this video series. And I've touched on it a little bit, and I took some questions. So first and foremost, number one, like I said, I've been looking at some cameras. I've been looking at a few drones to enhance this video. What I'm going to be doing is, people have commented in the sections below, and I appreciate it. People have said, well, this is too much like this, or this is too much like that, and it's getting away from why we started following you in the beginning. I want you guys to understand that inside of here, inside of all that is going on in here and in my heart, I am absolutely 100,000,000% the same dedicated, focused, driven lifter that I've always been. It's just what you guys haven't seen, and for good reason haven't seen, is parts of my life outside of that. And the reason I didn't show those parts is because those parts were severely neglected on my behalf. I didn't invest in things that truly mattered because I was so singularly focused on the gym. And what I'm trying to display now is my appreciation, my focus, and my balance through my videos. I think I understand that to a powerlifting community, a powerlifting mindseted person, that my lifting is going to need to be the primary focus of these videos. And I think that's a fair statement, and I think that will be the way that this goes. But then I'm also going to show things that I enjoy outside of that. But the reason I called it a journey for strength, as I stated before, is that this is not something that is just about being the strongest person according to weight on the bar. I'm trying to increase myself mentally. I'm trying to increase myself physically. I'm trying to increase myself spiritually. And it's a journey. It is an ongoing journey for me, and I like to share that. I would like to put that down on video so I can have a chronological order of things, have a database for that, and hopefully inspire some other people. But one thing is, the kind of pun there is, I travel a lot, and I get to meet a lot of incredibly amazing people. I get to do some really cool things, and I want to share those aspects of my travel because they heighten who I am, and they heighten what I'm about and what I believe. So one, I want to focus more on the gyms when I travel. A lot of times you'll just see the name of a gym as I travel there and do a seminar or whatever. But I want to focus on these gym owners. I want to focus on why they got into the gym. I want to focus on their gym, what it offers, what it brings to their members, who their members are, and then also a little bit about where they are. So if you're traveling through there, you have a good idea of what this gym is about, and maybe it's intriguing for you to go there as well. Places to eat. I'm always about finding really good places to eat. I'm always about trying to eat really well. So there's a balance for me of good food, quality food, and pretty healthy food. So I guess what I'm hoping to do is to present something that if you travel where I travel or in and around those areas, a synopsis of what you might want to try to emulate when you go there, as far as from a gym, where to stay, where to eat, and so on. It's just something that I've wanted to do. I've really enjoyed watching the Travel Channel shows. Anthony Bourdain is a favorite writer of mine, journalist, and maybe I can do a little bit of my own for the powerlifting world and help somebody out in that way. So this is kind of the direction that I'm going. I'm looking at ways to enhance this in every shape or form. Please, please, please comment below. I do read the comments. I do appreciate the comments. And, as long as they're honest, fair critique, I'm going to hear it. If it's just somebody down there trolling and saying, oh, you suck. Well, maybe I suck. That's fair enough too. But I'm in tune with what you guys want, and I'm all about making you guys happy and giving you guys what you want. On to the first question. I am a new lifter. What should you tell me getting into the sport of powerlifting? Number one, I'm going to tell you, don't limit yourself. Don't call yourself a powerlifter yet. I think one thing that we have really done is we have pigeonholed ourselves. I think we should always consider ourselves strength athletes. I think we should keep the door open to all kinds of strength sports, whether it be Highland Games, strongman, weightlifting, arm wrestling, whatever it should be. I think if you are invested in strength sports, then call yourself a strength athlete. Don't just necessarily back yourself into the corner and say, I'm a power lifter. I have a belief system, or what I believe that powerlifters should be doing is I think we should be training more like strongmen, mobilizing more like weightlifters, eating more like bodybuilders, but maintaining that powerlifter mindset, that do or die, that 1 rep maximum mindset. And why do I say we should train like strongmen? Well, if you look across the board, strongmen move with massive weights. They stay mobile with massive weights, as well as being functional outside of one plane. Powerlifters are asked to move the bar in one plane. Squat, you go up and down. Bench, you go up and down. Deadlift, you stand up, you put it down. Strongmen are asked to move weights throughout a variety of body ranges and body motions, as well as actually physically moving. So a lot of my Cube Predator clients have noticed we'll do a lot of farmers walks, we'll do a lot of weighted lunges and things like that, just to get the body acclimated to moving with bigger weight. And I think what you'll find out very early on is that if you can move with a weight that's significant, asking yourself to move it through one range of motion becomes that much easier. So I think training with that strongman mentality of moving the weights in different ways, not necessarily sticking to that one plane, is going to benefit you, especially very, very early on as a beginning lifter. Do all kinds of movements. Do every kind of movement that you can get benefit from, because as you get stronger, you're going to limit yourself. Things will stop working. So get as much out of what you can early on when you start training right away. Mobilize like a weightlifter. If you look at a lot of these weightlifters, they're highly flexible, they're highly mobile. And I'm not telling you to try to go out and be, a supple leopard, but what I am telling you is to be able to tie your shoes, be able to bend over and touch your toes, be able to squat down with a bar on your back that weighs nothing. There is no reason other than laziness, and I am speaking firsthand from getting in a position to where when you walk through the mall, your back pumps up so badly that you have to sit down. Having someone else put your shoes on for you or whatever. I mean, it's just negligence and it's laziness. Take 10 to 15 minutes a day and stretch. Go through some warm-up type stuff. Get the shoulders loose. Get the hips moving. Get the knees moving. You have one body. And trust me, if you've had an injury like mine, or you'll come to understand when you have an injury like mine, how important those little things are. That's why for me now, a lot of my work is dedicated to flexibility and mobility. I'm just as big and right at this moment, not as strong, but I have been as strong as when I fell. And every bit of that now is capable with more flexibility and more range of motion. And I feel so much better. I'm actually able to walk without getting out of breath. I'm actually able to do things much, much easier, And that's another thing. Just taking the time, walking 20 minutes a day or cycling 20 minutes a day, whatever it is, just getting the heart going. I mean, if you want to be great as a powerlifter, that's awesome. But what you've got to remember is this is a sport that doesn't give back. It only takes away. Nobody in this sport is getting rich. Nobody in this sport is getting world famous. The sport itself only takes away. It's only going to take years off your life, and it's only going to take years off your joints. So do everything that you can to make sure that you're fighting back. That's why I'm trying to eat a lot better. That's why on to the next step, eating more like a bodybuilder. You don't have to be a fat ass to be strong. you look more and more and more at our great powerlifters. One of the best guys out there right now, and one of the most impressive guys out there right now, Larry Wheels, phenomenal athlete. You've got Dan Greens, you've got Kevin Oakes, you've got Amit Sapirs, you've got all sorts of guys in a wide range of weight classes that are getting shredded. Stan Efferding, of course, he was one of the greatest of all time, professional bodybuilder. And I mean, excuse me, it's just incredible to see the change in the sport, where it used to just be these big, massive guys that were out of shape and fat, and now it's turning more into guys that are understanding nutrition, they're understanding health, they're understanding what it means for longevity. So, I think that's all important. And the powerlifting mindset is having the guts to get under a weight that could break you down. Getting up when you've fallen, pushing harder, pushing for more, being happy in the moment, but always setting bigger goals. So I think if you balance those things out and you take your time, I think you'll have a really good run at this sport. And the other thing, don't be afraid of repetition work. So many powerlifters, they get lazy and they start doing these singles and doubles and triples, and that's the world that they stay in. But you look at the guys that I just named, plus a few others. I'm sorry, I'm at Starbucks right now, and I'm sorry, I'm at Starbucks right now, and I'm sorry, I'm at Starbucks right now, and I'm desperate need of it. I'm so tired. But if you look at the guys that I just named, and then so many others, they built their foundations with repetition work, hypertrophy work. They trained like bodybuilders for a long time. And even to one of my clients at a seminar not too long ago, I said, look, be a powerlifter on your first movement, and then a bodybuilder the rest of your day. Build the muscles. That's the one way to build weaknesses, is to go through, make those muscles bigger, make those muscles stronger. And if you do that as a beginning lifter, if you keep that focus that you're a strength athlete, try to remain well-rounded, and when it comes time for a powerlifting competition or whatever competition, focus that in for about 10 to 16 weeks. I think you'll have a much more enjoyable, longer, healthier career. What do you think about box squats? All right. So I trained at Westside, and I think that for geared powerlifting, there is no other methodology more proven, more beneficial for a multiply powerlifter than the Westside conjugate method. I think it's phenomenal. I think it can be transferred to raw, but I think you have to make some admissions and some changes. When you look at the box squat, and that's one of the highly debated aspects of the Westside method, the box is put there to help increase explosiveness in reference to the way that Louis has people squat. Now, for a geared lifter, I'm going to make this argument. In the bottom of a squat, that is where the tension in the suit and the briefs are at the highest. So you're going your slowest probably because you're resisting the most. And as you get down to that box, you're wanting to release the musculature in the glutes and the hamstrings and then refire them from the bottom. So you're actually not releasing the suit or the briefs, but you're releasing the musculature on the box and then refiring to propel forward. So I think this guy behind us here is getting ready to get in a fight, and I love it. So you got the musculature release off the box, and then you stand up with it. But remember, that suit is still assisting you from that seated position. For a raw lifter, the bottom is where most lifters are the weakest. So giving that box for a raw lifter is somewhat of a safety net. Now, everybody's going to point out, whoa, Matt Winning does this or Matt Winning does that. He trains the conjugate system. I'm not saying the box can't work. It just, you have to have a different thought process about how you're using the box if you are a raw lifter. It needs to be set below parallel, and that's even if you're a geared lifter. Set the box below parallel and use the box not to release, I don't think, as a raw lifter. I think more as a mechanism of staying tight, using it as a pause, and then standing up. Now again, I don't use the box for my raw lifters. I'm not arguing that it's wrong. I'm just arguing that I think you have to have a different focus. It's definitely been proven useful for geared lifters. And I think if there's anybody out there that is using the box correctly for raw lifters, it's going to be Matt Winning, and his expertise on the subject is going to be much, much deeper than mine because he uses it. So I would direct anybody that is raw, that wants to use a box, to go that way. Now for athletes, I think it's a great tool because you're going to be using a repeatable point of depth. That way there's no shortcutting it. That way, as the coach, I can always see that my guy is doing what he's supposed to be doing. But also, it is that safety net. For athletics, I'm not worried about maximum strength necessarily on the football field. I'm worried about keeping my guys healthy. Number one, keeping them healthy, but also making them better athletes, not better powerlifters. So that is there to protect them as much as it is to enhance them. So for athletes, absolutely, I think the box squat can be a useful tool. For geared powerlifters, I think it can be a useful tool. And for raw powerlifters with the right mindset, I think it can be a very useful tool. Why do you suggest doing military press on a powerlifting program? Well, for one, I kind of came up in the powerlifting world from some very old school lifters, guys who just came up in the way of training hard, training every body part to the best of their ability. And what I think, if you look back and you give an honest assessment about geared powerlifting, when guys stopped training in the military press is when they got into the bench press shirts. When the bench press shirts took over, they pulled the shoulders in. They gave a lot of support to the shoulder girdle, to the shoulder joint, and you didn't necessarily have to have the strength or the power to have that area as strong as previous. Now for raw lifters, you look at all the great raw lifters, they may not have tremendous overhead presses, but they have tremendous delt development. And I was talking to Bill Kazmaier, and he's someone who really, really emphasized his delt work and his military work. And then, you look at some of the guys even at Westside, Kenny Patterson and George Halbert, they were massive, massive believers in overhead presses. Kenny Patterson actually did a seated bar press of over 700 pounds from, I think, chin high or maybe nose high. But just phenomenal power for the military press. Hold on, I got to order my Starbucks. Hold on, I got to order my Starbucks. Hold on, I got to order my Starbucks.
Thank you for choosing Starbucks. This is John. What can I do for you today?
Yes, I'll take a venti coffee with 2 extra shots, cream, and 2 Splenda.
All right. So we got a venti blackout with cream and 2 Splenda. Anything else?
That's it.
Going around, we'll have a total ready for you at the window, okay?
Thanks.
$4.29 for you.
All right. There you go.
Thank you. Will you need a receipt?
Nope.
Cool.
Thanks. We got it right. But pushing things overhead is much more of a natural movement than pushing things on your back and then away. Pushing overhead, to me, it's more of a full body movement, especially if you do them standing. I like to do a strict military press as much as possible, and then I let the legs become slowly involved as I fatigue. I think it's good for the core, I think it's good for the shoulders, and I think it's good for overall body conditioning, body balance, and body stability. Lastly, I think there's just a confidence factor in taking something and putting it over your head, transfers to putting something over your face. And for me, it's always going to be in the routine. It always has been. And the strongest guys that I've always looked up to have always been big shoulder pressers. And that's what I always wanted to be. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. Please share the video if you liked it. Comment below. And I'll do some more of these. And look forward to tonight's video. I'm going to have some new content in there. And I'm going to be training again today. So I appreciate it.